Mel Gibson, from Hollywood icon to scandal and redemption. Few stars have soared as high as Mel Gibson. He was the charismatic action hero of the 80s and 90s, the director of one of the most controversial yet successful films in history, and at one point, the highest paid man in Hollywood. But behind the charm and box office power, Gibson's life spiraled into chaos. Alcohol addiction, violent outbursts, accusations of racism, anti-Semitism, and abuse brought his career to the brink of destruction. For nearly a decade, Mel Gibson was a pariah in Hollywood. This is the story of Mel Gibson, his rise, his fall, and his complicated road to redemption. Act 1. The early years. Mel Gibson was born in 1956 in Peekskill, New York, the sixth of 11 children. When Mel was just 12, his father moved the family to Australia, hoping for a fresh start and to avoid the Vietnam War draft for his sons. Life in a big Catholic family wasn't easy. His father, Hutton Gibson, was a strict disciplinarian with strong, and often extreme, views. Mel grew up in a household shaped by conservative Catholic values, and later, some of his father's controversial beliefs would cast a shadow over him as well. Young Mel was shy, but when he discovered acting at drama school in Sydney, everything changed. His natural intensity, charisma, and rugged good looks made him stand out immediately. Act 2. The rise to stardom. In 1979, Gibson landed the role that would make him a star, Mad Max. The low-budget Australian film became a global phenomenon, and suddenly Gibson was an international action hero. He followed it with Gallipoli, 1981, earning critical praise, and then came to Hollywood, where he became a household name with the Lethal Weapon series alongside Danny Glover. The character of Martin Riggs, wild, damaged, unpredictable, felt almost like an extension of Gibson's real personality. Through the 80s and 90s, Gibson was unstoppable. He starred in hit after hit: Braveheart, Ransom, The Patriot, Signs. His career peaked in 1995 when he directed and starred in Braveheart, winning 2 Academy Awards including Best Director. By the early 2000s, Mel Gibson was not only a superstar, he was Hollywood royalty. Act 3. The passion and the controversy. In 2004, Gibson shocked Hollywood by self-financing The Passion of the Christ. Many studios refused to support the project, fearing its graphic violence and overly religious message. But Gibson invested $30 million of his own money. The film became a cultural lightning rod. Critics accused it of anti-Semitic overtones, while audiences flocked to see it. It grossed over $600 million worldwide, making it one of the most successful independent films ever made. But the controversy around The Passion also marked the beginning of Gibson's fall. Act 4. The scandals. Behind the scenes, Mel Gibson had long struggled with alcohol. He admitted to starting drinking heavily as a teenager, and by the 2000s, it was out of control. In 2006, he was arrested for drunk driving in Malibu. During the arrest, Gibson launched into a tirade, blaming Jews for all the wars in the world. The incident made headlines globally. Overnight, the Oscar-winning actor was branded an anti-Semite. Hollywood turned its back on him. Studios refused to work with him. Friends distanced themselves. The golden boy of Hollywood had become a toxic name. But it didn't end there. In 2010, recordings surfaced of Gibson verbally abusing his girlfriend, Oksana Grigorieva. The tapes included racist slurs, threats, and violent outbursts. Public outrage exploded again. For many, this was the final nail in his career. Act 5. Exile from Hollywood. For the next several years, Gibson was effectively blacklisted. No major studio wanted to hire him. He went from headlining blockbuster films to being virtually invisible in Hollywood. The fall was brutal. From winning Oscars and directing global hits, Gibson was reduced to a punchline in late-night shows, remembered more for his scandals than his artistry. Act 6. The road to redemption. But Mel Gibson didn't disappear entirely. Slowly, quietly, he began rebuilding. In 2016, he returned as a director with Hacksaw Ridge, a World War II drama about a pacifist medic. The film was a critical and commercial success, earning Gibson an Academy Award nomination for Best Director, his first in over 20 years. It was a reminder that, whatever his personal demons, Mel Gibson remained a master filmmaker. Since then, Gibson has returned to acting and directing, though his reputation is still divided. To some, he is an artist who made mistakes and sought redemption. To others, his racist and abusive behavior can never be forgiven. Act 7, The Bigger Picture. Mel Gibson's story is not just about one man. It's about the fragility of fame, the dangers of addiction, and the fine line between art and morality. Can an artist's work be separated from their actions? Should Hollywood forgive and forget, or does forgiveness have limits? Act 8, The Personal Battles. While Mel Gibson's public scandals were headline news, his private struggles were just as chaotic. He battled alcoholism for decades, checking in and out of rehab, admitting that he couldn't control his drinking. Gibson himself described alcohol as a disease that never goes away. His personal relationships suffered. His marriage to Robin Moore, the mother of his 7 children, ended in one of the most expensive divorces in Hollywood history, nearly $400 million. Soon after, his violent and turbulent relationship with Oksana Grigorieva became tabloid fodder, with leaked tapes and legal battles that painted Gibson as volatile and abusive. Beyond alcohol, Gibson was known for his explosive temper. Former colleagues described him as brilliant but unpredictable, capable of incredible focus on set, but also of sudden rages that could turn against anyone in the room. Behind the glamour of red carpets and Oscars, his life was a battlefield of addiction, anger, and broken relationships. Act 9, Legacy and Division. Today, Mel Gibson remains one of the most polarizing figures in Hollywood. On one side are the undeniable achievements: Mad Max, Lethal Weapon, Braveheart, The Passion of the Christ, Hacksaw Ridge. His films have inspired millions, changed genres, and influenced generations of filmmakers. On the other side are the scandals: the drunk driving arrest, the anti-Semitic and racist rants, the abusive behavior. For many, those actions overshadow everything else. And yet, Gibson continues to work. Some actors and directors defend him, saying he deserves forgiveness. Others refuse to collaborate, insisting that his past is too toxic to ignore. His story forces Hollywood and audiences to wrestle with a difficult question: can we separate the art from the artist? Final reflection. Mel Gibson's life is a story of extremes: faith and failure, genius and disgrace, triumph and exile. He may never fully escape the shadows of his scandals, but he will also never lose the mark he left on cinema. In the end, Mel Gibson remains what he has always been: a contradiction. A man of incredible talent, consumed by personal demons. A Hollywood legend whose legacy will forever be debated.